One woman versus the Roman Empire. Every powerful man in Rome wanted to control her. None of them could. At its peak, the Roman Empire controlled over 5 million square kilometers. It had the most powerful army in the world, the greatest generals, the most ruthless politicians. And yet, one woman made all of them nervous. This is the story of Cleopatra VII, not the myth, the real one. Who was she? Born in 69 BC in Alexandria, Cleopatra was not what most people imagine. She wasn't even ethnically Egyptian. She was Greek, a descendant of Ptolemy I, one of Alexander the Great's generals. But here's what made her extraordinary. She was the first ruler in her dynasty, in over 300 years, to actually bother learning the Egyptian language. She spoke 9 languages total: Greek, Egyptian, Ethiopian, Hebrew, Arabic, Latin. While Roman senators were playing power games, Cleopatra was studying philosophy, mathematics, and astronomy. She wasn't just a queen. She was the smartest person in the room. Every room. The first Roman, Julius Caesar. In 48 BC, everything fell apart. Cleopatra's own brother, Ptolemy XIII, had her thrown out of the palace, exiled, powerless. She was 21 years old. But then Julius Caesar arrived in Alexandria. Now, Caesar was the most powerful man in the world. He didn't need Cleopatra. He had Rome behind him. But Cleopatra didn't wait for permission. According to ancient sources, she had herself smuggled inside a rolled carpet, carried directly into Caesar's private chambers. Think about the audacity of that move. She couldn't fight Rome's army, so she walked straight into its heart. Caesar was impressed, not just by her appearance, but by her mind. They talked for hours. She spoke his language, literally and politically. Within days, Caesar sided with Cleopatra against her brother. She got her throne back. And Rome? Rome got a very complicated relationship with Egypt. The second Roman. Mark Antony. Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC. Cleopatra lost her most powerful ally. Rome split into chaos, and from that chaos emerged Mark Antony. Antony controlled the Eastern Roman world. He summoned Cleopatra to meet him, like a subordinate being called to a meeting. She showed up, but on her own terms. Ancient historian Plutarch describes her arrival. She sailed into the harbor on a golden barge with purple sails, silver oars, and herself dressed as Aphrodite, goddess of love. Half the city ran to the waterfront just to watch her arrive. Antony waited. She made him wait. This was not a woman asking for help. This was a queen reminding the world what power looked like. Antony was completely captivated. They became one of history's greatest and most dangerous partnerships. Together, they controlled Egypt and the Eastern Mediterranean. Together, they had children. Together, they made plans that terrified Rome. Because Rome had one rule: no one gets too powerful. And Antony and Cleopatra were getting very, very powerful. The third Roman, Octavian. His name was Octavian, later known as Augustus, the first emperor of Rome, and he hated them both. Octavian was cold, calculated, and patient. Where Antony was passionate, Octavian was surgical. He waged a propaganda war against Cleopatra, portraying her as a dangerous Eastern seductress who had corrupted a Roman general. He convinced Rome that Antony had betrayed them for a foreign queen. It worked. In 31 BC, at the Battle of Actium, Octavian's forces crushed Antony's fleet. it was over. Antony, believing Cleopatra was dead, took his own life. Cleopatra was captured, brought before Octavian. He wanted to parade her through Rome, the ultimate humiliation. The fallen queen, in chains, displayed like a trophy. She had survived Caesar's wars. She had outlasted Rome's civil conflicts. She had ruled for 21 years, but she would not be Octavian's trophy. In August of 30 BC, Cleopatra, age 39, died. The exact method is still debated by historians. The famous snake story may be legend, but what is not legend is this: she chose her own ending. Why she still matters. With Cleopatra's death, Egypt became a Roman province. A civilization that had lasted 3,000 years was absorbed into an empire. The last pharaoh was gone. But here's the thing about Cleopatra. She wasn't a victim of Rome. She fought Rome. She used Rome. She outlasted two of its greatest men. In a world where women had no political power, she ruled one of the wealthiest nations on earth for 2 decades. She wasn't remembered for being conquered. She was remembered for 2,000 years, for making Rome shake. One woman versus the entire Roman Empire. She didn't win, but she never surrendered. What part of Cleopatra's story surprised you most? Drop it in the comments.